Prabhakar, shall we start?
Prabhakar कैसा है वो क्या है ना ಇದನ್ನ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ
ಏನು
ಏನಂತಾರ
syllabus.
ಜೆಟ್ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟ್ ಬರಲ್ಲ ಸಿಕ್ಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಹಲೋ ಚಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ನಾವು ಯಸ್ ಡನ್ ಓಕೆ ಆತ ಚಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಚಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ
Department budget. No.
2020 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಡಮ್ ಚಲೋ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ
Recording start ಮಾಡ್ಲಿ.
ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ತೆಗೆದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ ರೆಕಾರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿ
Hello everyone. So today we will be giving introduction to all the open electives for 5th semester. Let me start with the first one, that is introduction to data structures. Right. So introduction to data structure is basically designed for the non-circuit branch students to have some basic knowledge of yeah. हम फॉर्मेट क्या बदलते हैं बरोबर. So let me show you the syllabus for the subject. So the syllabus goes like this. So name of the subject is Introduction to Data Structures, and the subject code is 18 IS 562. It is 3 credit course. It is open elective. That is the reason why it is mentioned as OE. And CI marks is 40. We will show you what is the breakup of those 40 marks, and then SWE marks is 40. And this is a 3 credit course, and duration for final exam is 3 hours of 100 marks, right? And the entire syllabus is for 40 hours of teaching, okay, classroom teaching. The basic course learning objectives goes like this: to introduce elementary data structures, and this will definitely help you for your campus recruitments, because data structure is considered to be one of the important subjects as far as your placement is concerned. Then the second one is to give emphasis on selection of right data structure for a given problem scenario. Whenever the problem statement is given to you, you should be able to identify the required set of elements or required set of data structures that are to be used for effective implementation of a solution for a given problem in an optimal way. So in this subject, you will be learning different data structures and their uses and the applications, using which you can easily identify which data structure is to be used and how it will be useful when compared to other data structures, and how that can be used to design an optimal solution for a given problem. To provide an insight to the linear and non-linear data structures and their applications. There are basically two types of data structures: linear and non-linear. And
నేను మిగిలిన స్టాప్ ಮಾಡಿಸಿ ಸ್ಟಾಪ್
login again. Login ಆದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಬೇಕಲ್ಲ. Main objective of the course is to introduce the elementary data structures and to give emphasis on selection of right data structure for a given problem scenario, and to provide insight to the linear and non-linear data structures and their applications. Hope the screen is visible to all of you. So let me just give you the introduction or the contents of this particular subject. The prerequisite is programming skills using C or C++, and all in all, this particular subject has this particular subject has 5 units. Okay, the subject has 5 units, and unit 1 basically talks about introduction to data structure, characteristics of the data structures, types of the data structures. All this will be covered as an introductory part of unit 1, and then arrays will be introduced to you. So types of array: representation of one-dimensional array in memory, array traversal, insertion and deletion, sorting and searching, two-dimensional arrays, matrix operations. All of these things will be covered in unit 1. And arrays is one simple and basic data structure that can be used to implement very useful and meaningful programs that you will be implementing in this particular course. Okay, and once you learn arrays, you will have some idea about how to implement basically the complicated problems that are used in day-to-day life. Then to overcome the problems that are associated with arrays, linked list is introduced, and this linked list will help you to implement more efficient programs. Okay, then in this particular subject, we also talk about how the linked lists are to be implemented, and what are the basic concepts of the linked list, implementation details, and types of linked lists. And then some linked lists have some drawbacks, and those drawbacks need to be overcome. For that, we make use of circular linked list and doubly linked list. Okay, and to the extent of doubly linked list, you will be learning in this particular unit, which will help you again to implement the efficient programs using linked list, as well as to use circular linked list and doubly linked list for more meaningful and efficient programs in terms of traversal, in terms of searching, in terms of traversal, in basic requirements of insertion, deletion, all those operations, how those can be implemented in a better way that is taught using circular linked list and doubly linked list. Okay. Then we have linear data structures. In linear data structures, we have stacks and queues. In stacks, you will be learning stack representation in the memory, then basic operations of the stack and stack implementation, and few examples, few applications of the stack will also be discussed in unit 3. So unit 3 talks about the very useful data structure, that is stacks, right from introduction to implementation. Then comes unit 4, that helps you to either
ಅಲ್ವಾ ಈಗ ಸರ್ ಬಂದ್ರು ಪಿಪಿಟಿ ಐತ್ಲ
ಅನ್ಸಕತ್ತೈತಿ
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ನೋಡ್ತೀನಿ ತಡಿ
ಅದಲ್ಲ
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ
ಹೌದು
ಮತ್ತೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರವಲ್ಲ
you are presenting.
ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಶನ್ ಚಾಲು ಮಾಡ್ಯಾರ ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟೇಷನ್ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ತೆಗೆದಿಟ್ಟಿನಿ.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು
ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಅಂತೂ ತೆಗೆದೀನಿ.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಅಲ್ಲ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಓರಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಿತ್ತು ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ.
ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡತ್ತಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಕತ್ತ ನಾವು
ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ಇದಾಗ ಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಬಾಜುಕ್ ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್
ಇದು
ಪಿ ಡಿ ಎಫ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಅದ ನೋಡಿ ರೋಲ್ ಅಪ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲಿ
ಹೆಡ್ಫೋನ್ ಏನು ಬೇಡ okay. So I was just discussing about the subject. So in 5 units we have first unit introduction to data structure, in which we'll be learning basic characteristics of data structure, type of data structure, and then introduction to arrays will be given to you. Then types of arrays, representation of one dimensional array in memory, array traversal, insertion and deletion, sorting and searching, all these things will be discussed. It will include even two-dimensional array and matrix operation also. Then we'll be learning linked lists as a part of unit 2. In linked list we'll be learning basic concepts of linked list, then implementation of linked list and types of linked lists, and there are some drawbacks of linear linked list which are overcome using circular linked list and doubly linked list. That will be covered in unit 2. So in this we'll be implementing various programs which will help you to design real-time applications using linked list and to overcome drawbacks that are associated with arrays. Then in unit 3 we have linear data structure, introduction to stacks. Stack is one important data structure which is used for real-time applications like function call statements that you have learned in C programming. How the stacks are basically represented in memory and basic operations of stack and stack implementation. All these things will be discussed as part of unit 3. And this again, unit 3 is of 8 hours syllabus. Then another important data structure, that is queues, will be implemented in unit 4. We'll be learning basics of linked list representation, how the queues are implemented using linked list, that will be discussed, and then queue implementation, how it is different from array implementation, that will be discussed. Then circular queues will also be implemented using linked list as well as arrays depending on the requirement. Then finally the fifth unit. In fifth unit we'll be learning non-linear data structure, which is different from the first two data structures that we have discussed in unit 3 and unit 4. In unit 5 we'll be learning trees. So introduction to trees, basic concepts, binary tree representation. Binary tree is basically used for sorting, searching operations, and different types of traversals of binary tree, and then binary search tree. And binary search tree is a special case of binary tree that will be discussed. Then to conclude, we'll be learning expression trees. This is the content of the entire syllabus, and for your course, the textbook that is prescribed is Balguru Swami, which is available in the library of the college. And this is a very simple textbook which will help you to learn all the 5 units that we have seen in this particular syllabus. Okay. Then another book is there which is written by Tenenbaum. Even this book is also helpful, and many copies are available, and even many e-resources are also available. You have some available NPTEL courses, and even EDX Coursera courses are also available. The links are provided in the syllabus. You can just go through that. So basic requirement for this particular subject to be taken up as the open elective is you should know any one of the programming languages, C or C++ thoroughly, because the programs that you will be writing in this particular course will be of little high level compared to the programs that you write in first year of engineering. Okay, so at the end of the course, the student will be able to define
linear, non-linear data structures, demonstrate the advantages and disadvantages of the data structure, and you will be able to use appropriate data structure for given problem statement to solve real world problems, and develop understanding of linear, non-linear data structure, and apply linear and non-linear data structure for solving complex problems. So hopefully this has given you the enough knowledge of this particular course. Just to show you the layout of CI and SWE. So CI is of 50 marks. Earlier it was shown as just 40 marks there. It will be like the final composition will be known to you. So the two IAs you need to attend, which will be written IA. These IAs are of 30 marks. Then average of two IAs will be taken. Average of two assignments will be taken. Actually, the assignments will be of 10 marks each. So 20 marks of assignment. Then 30 plus 30 is IA marks, that is 2 IA marks of 30 marks each. So 60 marks from IA, 20 marks from assignments, and 20 marks from course related activity. Okay, it might be a seminar or a project, okay, whatever is defined during the course of semester. So totally it is 100 marks. All right. So these 100 marks will be reduced to 50 marks. Minimum marks required for qualifying SWE is 20 marks. So these things possibly you know because you have already completed many courses. This is not much different from the other courses. Okay. So minimum passing marks required for SWE is 40 out of 100, and the exam will be for 3 hours. So question paper will contain 10 questions carrying 20 marks each. You will have to write 5 full questions, selecting at least 1 full question from each unit. So these things are the requirements of SWE and CI. Okay, so I guess the whatever introduction to given to you with respect to the contents of the course and the textbooks that you need to refer and the online courses that are available, I guess you get the enough knowledge or enough information for selection of this particular course. Okay. Thank you for attending this particular session, and hope you got enough information, and depending on your interest you can select this particular course as your open elective. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, good morning, all. So, the next open elective that Information Science Department is offering is Unix shell programming. Unix shell programming. So, Unix shell programming, so it mainly deals with Unix operating system. So what are the different features of Unix operating system? Probably everyone is working on, everyone heard about the word called as Linux operating system. So which is one of the very mostly used operating system in the industry, IT industry. So Unix makes a platform for the Linux. So Unix is a operating system, so which is command-based operating system. So here there is no UI as such in the Unix operating system. So if we understand the Unix operating system on which the Linux operating system works. So there are various flavors of Linux that operate on the base of Unix operating system. So actually in 2021, they say that Unix is dead. Dead in the sense it is not in use. But there are few system side where in the IT industry the system side is being used. So there this Unix operating system is mostly used, but still it exists. So if you want to understand the working of an operating system, then this subject plays a very important role. So which will also makes a base for scripting. So there is a lot of Perl scripting, shell scripting is being used in the industry. Scripting like is one of the kind of a coding, so where we need to write the scripts using different commands. So these things in networking also, these things are going to help us. So this subject introduces the basic features, architecture, basic commands, and some editor commands, and Unix file system, filters, scripting with respect to Unix. So the syllabus is displayed in front of you. The syllabus goes like this. So we'll be having initially the first chapter, it is having 5 units. So in the first unit we'll be having the basic architecture. We'll try to understand some keywords here, like what exactly the Unix operating system is, how it works, what are the different commands. Like we'll try to understand about different relationships here, a kind of inheritance. And then we'll be having one editor, so how to use the commands to write into this editor. Like this is already you are using editors like Notepad and all, you know, Windows operating system. Similarly, there is a VI editor, which is one of the very famous editing tool available in Unix operating system. And then we'll be understanding about basic file attributes. So probably in Windows operating system, you know about the file operating systems like directory, files, right? So how exactly the structure of the file attributes are there. So this makes a basic of file attributes. So how do you access the different files? What are the different modes that you can access the files? So the creator of the file will be one, user of the files may be different. So we need to differentiate between user and the creator of the file. We need to give the permissions. So how these things are done, so that we will understand. Similarly, we'll understand about the process, what exactly the process means. So there are different types of processes. So any software or any what do you say software or tool which is running in the background. So now in this case, for example, so you may see the Google Meet is running in the background and presentation is in the front, right? So all of you are seeing is what a Google Meet, which is running in the backend. So on the front, you're seeing this PDF to be displayed in front of you. So what is this exactly backend process? How it is working? Some and even Windows operating system is running now. So web browser is running at the backend. So all these things, how they run, how we need to manage these background processes and all. So all these things we'll try to understand with basic Unix. Then there is one more important thing is the searching. So searching plays very important role, search and sort. So if you have records or files, you need to search for something here. So by giving some keywords, you do a search. Similarly, we'll use the searching with the different commands, and we'll use regular expressions to search for the particular data. So these are called as filters. So these filters can be used to find the how this is being used in the Unix. So that will be learning here. This is all command based. And what Windows or what Linux you are having, everything is like UI based. Interface is there. So but here we are not studying any interface. We are studying it as a command prompt. Next, Unit 4 is shell. So we'll try to understand about shell cycle, shell variable. So this is also a kind of a small interactive editor that's available. So using this, we'll try to use some commands and we'll try to understand about the shell. And then we'll try to understand few more operators that helpful in shell script. Shell script is nothing but a small kind of a code, so which will run on the Unix platform. So these are the 5 units. We'll be trying to understand about the basic things about working of a Unix shell programming. So which makes actually how the operating system works. If you learn the operating system, this makes a basic understanding. This creates a basic understanding or maybe a blueprint. So where each student will understand about the working of a particular operating system. That is Unix operating system here. So if you learn this, on this learning of any other operating system will be easier. So this is the basic subject that is required if you want to go with system side programming or probably a Linux side programming. So this is how the details of the subject is. So these are a few of the references, and so at the end we also need to do, and one more important thing is this subject will be taught as in a 202 scheme pattern. So the pattern is 202. So 202 in the sense, this will be mainly a lab based subject. So every student should bring the laptops. So we will try to install the Unix. We'll try to run these commands. So most of the units, 99% of the subject will be taught using practical based approach. So this is lab and practical. So 202, that's what we call here. So this is a 3 credit subject, so which is 202. And CI and SW again 50-50 marks, so total 100 marks. And here, one important thing is there is no theory subject that you'll be writing as a SW at the end. There is no SWs there. So this subject is mainly focused with respect to project or maybe scripting. So you need to develop a project. So you need to do these lab experiments. This is a lab associated with it. So along with the lab, so the commands and the subject and lab go hand in hand. That's what mainly it is project based and lab based, practical based. So mainly the 99% will be doing hands on, along with developing these some kind of programs here. So programs are there just to understand about the working of the subject. This is the CIE here. The CIE will be conducting a test of 30 marks. So maybe there are two ways how we conduct the test here. So the test will be conducted either 1 hour duration or 2 hour duration. So that we'll see how to conduct it in the later during the phase of the conducting phase of the subject. Then there is a journal. You need to write a journal here with respect to whatever the 12 programs are there. And also you need to write a project, you need to develop a project, so including that everything, so it's a 20 marks, so which is 50 marks total. This is CIE. And SW is directly we need to know theory written exam here, like other 3 hours we'll be writing. This is a lab, this is purely a lab, so where you will be again asked one of these programs, the SW you need to execute, you need to come to the lab. This is the kind of lab examination. So what you need to do is you need to project, you need to showcase the project that you have done here. So the same project what you have done. So here there could be some changes can be asked in the project during the SW. Some project changes, something, some code changes, or maybe some minor changes may be asked, and you need to ask given a viva. So you need to give a viva. You need to present what the project you have done, and then you have to write up, do the write up, then present what you have done, and you need to give the demonstration of the project what you have done, and you will be asked viva, and as well as there is a some changes that can be asked with respect to the subject, along with so one of the programs you need to execute. So this is about the subject Unix shell programming. So hope it is clear. Now one more elective that we are offering is computer graphics. This computer graphics. So the staff member is on leave. So on behalf of him, so I'll be just giving an introduction about computer graphics. So this is again a computer graphics is 300. That is 3 credit subject. So there is a SW is there, written theory exam is there with respect to this subject. So again, this particularly requires a little bit of knowledge of C programming or any programming language, and a little bit of algebra and geometry. So this subject is deals with, you heard about the graphics, but this subject like does not directly deal with the software tools like CAD, CAM, or probably ANSYS. So like animation tools. So this is not deals with any kind of animation tools, but actually this deals with the programming concepts that are behind the working of these animation tools. Suppose you have heard about animations. So behind the animation, how the mathematics works, what are the algorithms that work behind the animation. So those things are taught in this subject. So in the introduction subject, you'll be understanding about what are the different graphic systems are there, and what are the graphic architectures are there. Then there is a small OpenGL. This is a package in C programming. So that is how exactly different packages that is C program is being used. The OpenGL programming is used for programming the algorithms. Then different concepts like colors, there's algorithm gasket program, how the polygons, recursions are done, three-dimensional gaskets are being used. So like kind of animation, then input interactions, how the different devices are being used, right, to build the interactive models, and what are the different interactive programs, logic operations, how the CAD program works. So the basic working of these things will be taught programmatically, how the things will work. So that will be taught in second unit. And in the third unit, there's a transformation. So this mainly deals with the kind of transformations, means that's nothing but your automation, small animations. Not automation, it's animation. So how you can move the object from one place to another place, how you can shift the particular object from some angle, or you can rotate it, you can transform it, you can translate it, you can scale it, make big and small. So with respect to coordinates, you can just move it, right? So what are the 3D transformations? So you generally do it using coding here. You will be understanding the mathematical models, so how the transformations can be done. And in unit 4, you'll be using the different lighting effects and viewing effects from different positions. How, like, this is also helpful in generally your cameras. Probably most of the students are having, people are having interest in taking the pictures, like photography. So when you're doing the photography, so how exactly you know about like different lighting effects, how different positioning of the camera, right? Simple projections. So these things are going to just, you need to understand how exactly the things work behind the camera, or maybe on the movies the screen, how exactly it works. There is nothing but the projections. So with respect to different projections, how the objects are being seen, and what is the coding behind it. Coding in the sense, the logical understanding behind this is OpenGL, right? And then lighting is also the same thing here. Different lighting models will be understanding, and at the end we'll be understanding about shading. So shading also, here you'll be learning some algorithms, right? With OpenGL. So how it will help in shading. Whatever you are learning here, these are the it could be mathematical models, or it could be algorithmic approaches, or it could be some models, how you are going to understand about these subjects, about this computer graphics. So exactly like a programming wise, logarithmic algorithm wise, or maybe mathematical wise, how the things work. So that we're going to understand in computer graphics, not any tools that we're going to understand here, but it could be taught as a one of the animation tools, maybe one or two tools like here paint 3D, or maybe another few tools. So could be taught here as some case studies. So this is about computer graphics. Okay, this is again as the previous introduction to data structures. So this will be taught again. The CIE will be regular CIE. All right. So 2 IAs, assignments, quizzes, and project you'll be doing, and at the end of the SW, so you'll be writing the 3 hours exam for this. So as usual, 10 each unit, 2 questions. So total 10 questions will be there. So we'll be writing accordingly. Okay. So these are the 3 subjects that we are going to offer this time. So introduction to data structures, Unix shell programming, and computer graphics. So these are the 3 subjects that we are going to, the Department of IC is offering. So now the choice is yours. So still you have any doubts or anything, so you can come to the department, you can subjects. Okay, so we end the session here. So thank you for thank you each and everyone so who is attending this session. Thank you all.
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ